Let's talk about Pandemonium. It released in North America on PlayStation in 1996, then only took 6 months to come to the Saturn, releasing in April of 1997 in North America. Crystal Dynamics published the game and were one of the few remaining third-party developers to really take the platform seriously and release a decent game on it. I want to take a moment to talk about what it was actually like to be a Saturn owner in 1997. Which really was the golden age of the console as development on it had finally matured. Every month, Sega and third parties were releasing 6 to 7 games, and the diversity and quality of titles being released was big. Just take a look at the games reviewed by official Saturn magazine in June to see what I mean. Fighters Megamix and King of Fighters for fighting game fans. The awesome MechWarrior 2 port, Shining the Holy Ark, and of course Pandemonium. It was a really good time to own a Saturn, and although there were storm clouds on the horizon, no one cared about that right now because the games coming out were rock solid. Well, most of the time. Official Saturn magazine called out all of the things I mentioned in their massive Pandemonium showcase they did in the June 1997 issue. They discussed the great graphics, playability, and platform parity with the other version of Pandemonium. It's easy to see why they raved so much simply by sitting down to play the game. Everything from the menus to the loading screen with a little Fargus or Nikki running around on it, to the 3D level select have had care and attention put into them, and it's immediately noticeable. Both characters can do slightly different things in the game, and although most of this isn't really noticeable, you might want to play as Fargus all the time because he looks more fun than Nikki does. But sometimes you have to play as Nikki to reach places you can't easily reach as Fargus. Other than that, the characters control identically through the side-scrolling 3D action Pandemonium offers. It feels very slick to play, with an emphasis on letting the player explore levels a little bit, and making them infinitely replayable if you want to go back over and over again to try to get the best treasure score. There are hidden bonus levels and giant boss encounters as well, so it's pretty much everything you'd expect from a side-scrolling platformer, but with a little more gloss and shine to it. And it's really very well designed. At certain points in the game, you can even turn into a frog, a turtle, or a dragon to bypass hazards, so some thought has been put into shaking up the core gameplay a little bit as you played. Graphics are one of the big things that stand out when talking about Pandemonium on Sega Saturn. This employs every trick in the book that uninformed simpletons think the Saturn cannot do at all. Colored, dynamic lighting, transparencies, you name it. I don't need to keep repeating myself, but this game is just a great little mini showcase of everything the Saturn is supposed to not be able to do. Additionally, the overall texture quality and level geometry is very good, and I like the hand-drawn backgrounds working in concert with the 3D level elements. Pandemonium is a pretty great game. It's a real treat that we got this on the Saturn, especially at a time when we were already being spoiled with very good games every month. It's another feather in the cap of my favorite console, and if you have a chance to sit down and play through Pandemonium in its entirety, it still holds up today, and plays very well on the Sega Saturn indeed.